Yarn sensation. Just click on my yarn lady or click the subscribe button. To get started, you want to chain 4. Once you have your chain 4, you want to slip stitch into that first stitch. Next, chain 1. You will place a total of 8 single crochets into the center. Once you completed your 8 single crochets, place a stitch marker into the last single crochet that you made. For round 2, you want to place a total of 2 half double crochets in each single crochet around for a total of 16 half double crochets, and we will meet back. I am at my stitch marker. I want to remove it and place my last 2 half double crochets for round 2. Place my stitch marker back. Just a recap, for round 2, you will have a total of 16 half double crochets. Okay, for round 3, you will slip stitch in the first stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, place 2 double crochets in that same stitch, 1, 2. You will slip stitch in the same stitch, and your first cluster is made, and I probably will refer to this later on as a spike. Pay me no mind, it's just a name that I thought of when I was making my spider. So in the next stitch, you will slip stitch, chain 2, 1, 2, and place 2 double crochets in that same stitch, slip stitch back into the same stitch. Okay, so you have completed 2 of your spikes. Do spiders even have spikes? I don't know. Just a name that goes with the look of my spider. So what you want to do is repeat your cluster around for each. Repeat it around for each stitch. You will have a total of 16 clusters when you get back around, and we will meet back. I am back around. I completed my 16 clusters or spikes. So what you did was complete the head of your spider. Now feel free, for this one I am using red heart yarn, which is much thicker, so you could use 2-ply yarn and have a smaller spider. Use a smaller hook for a smaller spider, or if you want it bigger, you know, stick to the red heart yarn. You can even increase your hook size to make it even bigger. So once you complete the head, the next will be the body. You want to chain 8. Once you have 8, you want to slip stitch back into the same stitch that you just came out of. And what you did was create a little loop. You can push the head out the way if you need to. Next, you want to chain 2, turn your work, and in this center you will place a total of 18 double crochets. Once you have your 18, we will meet back. I have completed my 18 double crochets. Next, you want to fold your head back, and you want to join with a slip stitch into your beginning chain 2. Once you complete that step, you want to chain 2, 1, 2. You want to place a double crochet in that same stitch. Next, you will place 2 double crochets in each stitch around, and we will meet back. Okay, once you get back around, you have a total of 36 double crochets. That's including your chain 2. Next, you want to slip stitch into your chain 2. Next, you will be joining in the 4th cluster from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're not sure where the 4th one, you want to start where you join or you first started your round 3 for the head. Count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and you will be slip stitching or joining into that 4th cluster. Okay, to start this leg, you want to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then you want to slip stitch in that 14 chain or the second chain from the hook. And then you'll place a single crochet into that same stitch. You will be slip stitching into this stitch again. If you need, place a stitch marker there. Okay, next you want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and place a single crochet. Next, you will slip stitch back to where we started. So you just want to place a slip stitch in each stitch back to the top. And right where you put your stitch marker, that's where your next slip stitch goes. And you just want to repeat that up to the top, and we will meet back. Okay, once you complete your last slip stitch, then slip stitch back in to the same starting point. And your first leg is complete. Okay, the next 3 legs will be crocheted the same way, but with different stitches, different amount of chains, I should say. So you want to slip stitch into the next stitch. That's 1 slip stitch in the next, 2 slip stitch into the next, 3. Next you will start your second leg. So for this leg you want to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you want to slip stitch back into the second chain from the hook. Complete your single crochet. Chain 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next, you will place a single crochet, well, a slip stitch first in the second chain from the hook and your single crochet. Okay, next you want to repeat the same steps as you did on the first leg by slip stitching in each stitch back to the top, and once you reach the top you want to slip stitch into that same stitch and we will meet back. Okay, so I completed my second leg. Next you want to complete the third leg. You will slip stitch in the next stitch, 1, slip stitch in the second stitch, 2, slip stitch in the third stitch, 3. And you want to repeat the steps that you did for the second leg and we will meet back. Once you complete that third leg, you want to slip stitch in the next stitch. And you want to repeat the steps for the third leg and we will meet back. Let's look and see if it kind of look like a spider. I think so, but we'll finish. So the next step after you completed your last leg for this side. So let's recap. We did our front leg, second leg, third leg, and our fourth leg. Okay, so the spider has 8 legs, so well, this particular one gonna have 8 legs, so let's go around and finish it off. So in the next stitch you want to slip stitch, and you want to slip stitch around, and you will be slip stitching over a total of 13 stitches before we start the next leg. So we completed 1 slip stitch, so go ahead and complete your next 12 and we will meet back. I completed my 13 slip stitch around, so the next thing you want to do is complete the first leg for this side, or this same leg here over here. So you just want to repeat the same steps that you did for this leg and we will meet back. Okay, so we're just matching this side with this side. So remember, on this side we only slip stitch over 1 to complete the next leg. So on this side we will slip stitch in the next stitch, and we want to start our next leg. And just remember, to complete this leg will be the same steps you did for this leg, and we will meet back. We completed our next leg, our third leg. we want to slip stitch in the next stitch, 1, slip stitch in the next 2, slip stitch in the next 3. And we want to start our next leg. Repeat the same steps as you did for this leg, and we will meet back. We have completed 1, 2, 3, so we need one more. You want to slip stitch in the next 1, 2, 3 stitches, and you want to slip stitch in the 1, 2, 3, 4th cluster on this side. Just stick your hook through it, pull your yarn through, back to the back, and it's done. And for this leg, you will repeat what we did for the very first leg, and that would be chaining 15, then slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, single crochet in the same stitch, chain 4, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, slip stitch into it, single crochet, and then you want to slip stitch back to the starting point where you connected your yarn with your spike or cluster. I'm just going to leave it with spike. So that will complete that leg. So you completed your last leg, and we have to hurry up and bring our little friend to life. So the next step, you want to chain 3, and I place 2 stitch markers up top. You'll be skipping 1, 2, and the third I have a stitch marker. Skip the one in the middle and place your second stitch marker, and once you chain your 3, you want to join it in this stitch where your stitch marker is at. Once you do that, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you just want to place a slip stitch in each chain back to your starting point. And you want to join it in the same stitch. Next, you will chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to join in the next space with your stitch marker. Once you have that, you want to chain 6, and you want to slip stitch in each stitch down. And you want to finish off by slip stitching into that same beginning stitch. You can finish off your work. Leave a tail long enough to weave through your work. So next we need to make the bottom, and then we will stuff our spider. We will close in the center, and our spider will be ready. So let's do the bottom. The bottom will be made the same way that we did our body part. You want to chain 8, join in that first chain, chain 2, place a total of 18 double crochets into the center, Once you have 18, join into that chain 2, chain 2. Place a double crochet in the same stitch and place 2 double crochets in each stitch around, and we will meet back. Okay, once you have completed, just join into the chain 2, chain 1, cut your yarn, just leave a tail long enough to weave in. Okay, at this point you need the top part, you need the bottom part, and you need your stuffing. Okay, make sure that your spider is on the wrong side. Make sure your bottom is on the right side, and you just want to put your pieces together. And I will start stitching from the top part, and you just want to stitch around, come back around, leave a gap wide enough to place your stuffing into the bottom of the spider, and we will meet back. You need your yarn needle, and you want to weave together the 2 pieces, that's your top and your bottom, and you want to weave around to close the parts together. Remember, when you get almost to the starting point, you want to leave a gap so that you can place your stuffing. Complete closing your 2 pieces together. Next, you want to close your center. Once you have the bottom closed, you will need to turn over your piece and close the center up top. Thanks for watching and spending a little time with Yarn Sensation.